Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet a courageous young lady who turned her pain into purpose. Her incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I am so blessed. I can honestly say that I had an idyllic childhood, didn't have any conflict. I had a perfect life, and I wake up every morning just praising God, because when people ask me my happiness 1 to 10, I say 12. I haven't had to overcome much at all, but somebody who's had to overcome a great deal is my next guest, Battaglia. She's with Livin the Dream Ministries. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Great to be here.
Well, let's start in your childhood, because I know you had a lot of trauma. Why don't you share that with us?
I did. Unfortunately, I went through some tough abuse at the age of 6. I was sexually abused at 6. And my memory was suppressed, Jeff. So it wasn't until my early 30s that I started working through that. And I find that to be the case for a lot of individuals if the trauma is pretty severe in childhood.
Yes,
So.
and you wrote this amazing book called Learning to Become an Overcomer, and I love that title.
Thank you.
Tell us more about the book. What's in the book? What will people learn when they buy the book?
Well, Jeff, I went out of corporate in Georgia in 2013. I decided to go get trained in inner healing, spiritual inner healing. I just got connected to some incredible ministries and people that helped me. I wanted to make a difference, and I knew I wanted to be a spokesperson. I wanted to have my own show. I wanted to give people hope again, and that they can have a great life through abuse.
And you also did something very bold that I don't know too many people who have done this. You put all your stuff in a car and you drove to Dallas in 2005.
I did. Okay, now this is the real story, right?
Sure.
This is the real Dana. Yes, I was after my ministry training in 2018 in Florida. I went to a conference, and I was very, very fortunate to have met Pastor Tony Kemp. He became a father figure to me and flew to Georgia to meet with me and my ex at the time, 6 hours at a hotel, Jeff. And he said, I want to launch her at the right time. And her story needs to get out to the world of what she went through. So I started diligently working on the first book, which I knew I was going to write a book. And so I got toward the end of it and the pandemic hit. At that time, unfortunately, I was going to go through a divorce, and I was devastated. So the pandemic's happening. I'm like calling him up going, I'm really sorry. Thank you for wanting to promote my story. And he said, we're not stopping, and we're going to get you launched at the right time. So today is really the day of launch. So I put everything in my 2005 BMW convertible, my Vitamix, my 5.5 shoes, Jeff. Literally my training materials. I don't know. You could not have fit a protein shake in the car, Jeff.
Wow.
It was hysterical. So I drove across the country at the beginning of the pandemic to start my life over here in North Dallas. And I got 3 miles from the hotel, Jeff, and I got pulled over by a cop. And he walks up, he's shining his light in. He's like, where are you going? I'm going to the hotel. I'm starting my life over.
Did he end up ticketing you?
No, I got off the ticket, Jeff. But anyway, it was hysterical.
Wow.
So after a couple weeks, my best friend flew in from Georgia, and I got an apartment. I started going out and just meeting people. The Lord had me gift 300 of these books away. And I had to stay off because of a certain situation I was going through. I had to stay off social media. I couldn't, so I had to just go out just like this and meet people. And next thing you know it, I'm getting in front of just as many men that had been abused as women. So I got here and I birthed a 501c3 called Dana's House, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It's an incredible story.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about human trafficking, because I know that's a passion project for you. And
Very
people, thanks to movies like Sound of Freedom, are now aware that it's a big deal and it's not just something that's happening in a foreign country. You were talking to me before the show about just how serious it is in the United States. Talk more about that.
Absolutely, Jeff. And I am very, very connected to several of the anti-sex trafficking organizations. And it's become the number one place of sex trafficking, the United States. And one of the things in meeting with them and meeting with some people from the Sound of Freedom was, okay, we need more safe houses. So Dana's House went from originally being a home for women, and I was going to help them get on their feet. They were going to go to church and have a job, and I was going to help them get on their feet. And then I was just going to fly to a different city in the U.S. and open up another Dana's House, right? That was the original plan. And through this 3-year journey, I realized we need safe houses. So I have now devoted my life to help as many women and, have a safe place.
And you found kind of a real need in the market. There are a number of anti-sex trafficking organizations, but there is no safe house organization, is there?
No. So I found my niche by meeting with these people and meeting with the people of in great organizations I'm connected to. And they have been very wonderful to me, and I'm so grateful. I will talk about them in my sequel book. I'm going to write one more book, Jeff.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come get mentored under you to do podcasts.
I love it. Well, tell me more about what happens at the safe house that you're imagining.
Well, what I imagine for these safe houses, really my part is I just want to bring awareness. I want to share my story, which is a very personal story of why I'm so very adamant about building these homes. It's going to be a safe place for them to get back on their feet, Jeff.
Right. And right now, even if a woman decided that she wanted to get out of the sex trafficking industry, it has a way of pulling you back in, doesn't it? Unless you're surrounded by a network of safety, like your safe houses.
Right.
So what is your message right now for the people watching this who might actually be in the throes of the sex industry and they want to get out? I mean, through your organization, can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. I would love for them to reach out to me, and I'm connected to a lot of people that we can get that ball rolling. One of the things I had a heart when I was giving out my book, and I was praying over people and I was collecting cards. I said, okay, I want to have a sunflower black tie event when this pandemic's over. And I want to raise as much money. I was determined I was going to raise more money for the anti-sex trafficking world than any organization out there. I was just so passionate about providing a safe place. I didn't have a safe place. I didn't have a untrafficked to come in and get me at 6.
Right.
Okay. So I just really have a heart to be able to see these people, have a life again and get healed and have a life. And so that's really what Dana's House is about. So I'm really looking for corporate sponsorships. If you're a company that would love to partner with me, I'm looking for that. Individual sponsorships. We're looking for even donated land. If you have donated land that you'd like to help with the project. We're building the board right now. It's really exciting for me, and I'm looking forward to the Sunflower Black Tie event. We're going to have that the 1st of April.
Absolutely. And we're going to give you a way to contact her at the end of the show. But I want to just kind of tease a little bit. You're actually in the talking stages of launching a podcast / television show called The Overcomers.
Yes.
So tell us more about that project.
And that happened through my mentor right here. I want everybody to know.
Well, you're kind. But what's your idea for the show? What's the show about?
So what I really would like to do with the show, I'll be filming down here, and I would like to have people on my show all over the United States. I'd like them to come in and be on the show, and it will be overcomer stories.
Yes.
I think people, what happened during the pandemic, they lost hope. Jeff, they really did. And a lot of them lost a lot during the pandemic. And I want to encourage people in the sequel book, which is Learning to be an Overcomer, Just Be You, Be Fearless, righteous justice, my freedom. And I kind of talk a little bit more in the sequel book of my freedom
Sure.
by coming here. So,
And I think you remind all of us that you never really know what's going on in the background. I mean, people look at you, you got, perfect hair and makeup, you look like you have everything going for you. And,
yes.
But and people are walking the streets every single day, and on the outside, they look like they're healed and together, and they might still be hurting from something that happened
Yes.
decades ago.
Yes. And I have found that a lot of people have not had a good, safe, confidential place to get healed.
Yes.
So I think that's been the big key in the whole
Outstanding.
formation.
Well, unfortunately we're almost out of time. So,
Okay.
Final thoughts. What would you like to look right into that camera on the left and talk to the viewer? What do you want to leave people with?
I would just like to say to you, if you've gone through any kind of abuse, if you are a woman that unfortunately has navigated a divorce, maybe it's from abuse, or you're scared to get out, if you could just reach out, I would love to be able to help you. And I also would like to speak to any of the organizations in the United States here that would like to partner with me with this. I'm looking for really good partners and sponsorships to take this to I just want to launch them everywhere.
Yes.
So
Well,
it takes a team to do that.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your passion with our audience. And I'm going to give you the website. It's livinthedreamministries.com. Thank you, Dana. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you so much, Jeff. God bless you.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.